we're going to space with this, but I mean, either way, it's pretty cool the way it works.
I like the way you think there, at least.
Well, interplanetary. I mean, it doesn't say like intercomputationally or, inter hard drive. It's interplanetary. Like, hey, we're going to send some shit to Mars just in case the Earth crashes.
Well, and that's the basic concept there. Is we call it interplanetary, but we're going to send some shit to Chile and China and Argentina.
So it's based on
our
satellite
server dies.
ideas. It's putting different satellite servers around the planet.
Yes, not necessarily with satellite communications, which is another project.
Satellites
involved in,
meaning
but-
just like
off-site,
yeah,
terrestrial locations, yeah. And then they're starting a VM, which this is what's going to enable smart contracts and their web hooking as well. So that's super cool because then I can actually reach out, and if there's something that I really need, like Swarm City on the Ethereum blockchain to do, and I just need to know when that thing happens, so I can trigger something on ARK or Bitcoin, or I can this is a really cool thing about ARK. It's designed to link or be the ARK, for everything to get on and make sure everything survives. You can link so many different blockchains with it. So if I see something happen on Swarm City, which is a subset of Ethereum, and then I can trigger something to happen on ARK, which will then go ahead and trigger something on Bitcoin or Zcash or whatever to initiate payment, or I can make things happen with this.
So it's kind of like an if this, then that kind of deal where you can set something up to do a much more complicated task based on certain trigger points.
Yes, however, this is like saying if my car starts, then I will start my microwave to heat up my bacon. Then I will have a plate come out of my cabinet to place the bacon on and cool down for me by the time I get in my car from work to drive home.
So it's kind of like a Rube Goldstein mechanism.
Sure, I don't know what that is.
Pee Wee Herman back in the day, he'd wake up, the toaster would pop, it'd pull a string.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah. A super complex machine that, like dominoes.
Which is absolutely ridiculous. But there was an app called IFFT, or IFTT, if this, then that. So basically you could, like on your phone, you could be like, if I receive an email, automatically put it here or there, or, at 8 o'clock, open up this app or automatically reply. I mean, it was actually pretty complicated. I could have several things done automatically. So like when the deposit comes in, it would automatically set up a payment if I wanted to, but only after the deposit came in.
Exactly. That's exactly what
so
it is.
That's really useful. It's more than just, I'd rather cook my own eggs instead of having shells in it. But when it comes to electronics, it's really nice to be able to have a little control over a program, how things are done, to give some automation to your life.
Right. And so that's to say, once this programming is done, so once someone finishes this version of the website and you set something in place for someone to just validate, yep, it's done.
And it will automatically start advertising itself and collecting bullshit.
Right. We're automatically sending out payments to Facebook and Google to push advertisements. We're paying money to this newspaper or whatever to start advertising for us. And it just automates a lot of crap that, why do I have to read this stupid invoice just to pay somebody?
Right.
I had you click the button to say it's done, and now that goes from this blockchain to this one, and then it gives payment on this third blockchain.
I like money.
And it sends the invoice via email. So it automates a whole lot of stuff and really takes the human error out of it and doesn't. It mitigates a lot of people screwing you over because it's all on a blockchain, so it's all recorded.
Money's awesome. It's like having a monkey that can go retrieve your crap after you pay somebody.
Little Abu.
Yes.
And so some other tasks I got here, only 25% done. These are all set to be in 2019. But NFC, that's near field communications, kind of like smart cards where you touch your phone, like,
like
for Apple
Venmo
Pay or
kind of
Google Pay.
stuff.
Yeah.
I love those.
So they're pushing for that. And also merchant pay accounts. They're going to integrate this with WooCommerce. So you can put it on your website to accept ARK, Bitcoin.
Dude, let's do it. Let's see how this works.
Well, they're only 25% done with it.
I know, but we've been talking about the merchant accept. I mean, like I'm wondering if we didn't attach a Bitcoin to $1 and then make sure that's the only one that Hawaii accepts because it's attached to the dollar, maybe they might let that ride because it's actually not so volatile.
Yeah?
There's a lot of money to be made on transactions, and I don't see too many people doing the credit card deal with crypto.
They're not.
I mean, there should be like some accountability. If you're going to decentralize, at least everybody should have accountability. And if there's a way to batch out money for a business, there's accountability for what they made. And then for also the people buying something, they know they're not getting screwed.
So maybe next show we can dig a little bit deeper into ARK here and how they actually have accountability built in.
I love it.
Essentially, you don't get to mine blocks. But we'll cover that in a later episode.
I'm not really worried about mining blocks. I mean, if I can trust it.
No, that's how you make money.
I know, but let's say I just bought into it because I would rather use crypto than using physical. You can't steal my crypto when I'm walking around. You can't lift my wallet and just fuck me over. You know,
Right.
if I lose my key or my web password because I'm a freaking idiot, that's on me. But, you know, I can't actually be robbed.
Right.
Except for, you know, some
Well,
hacker.
I can beat the private key out of you.
Yeah, that's not going to work, buddy.
With if someone comes with a big enough wrench, that they're going to beat it out of you.
Not this moron.
But anyway, the point here is
you know what I'm saying though. I mean, what dumbass is like just got out of jail is going to beat you for your crypto password?
Yeah, no, they don't know that yet.
Exactly.
Give them a few years, and they'll figure out at least how to get it to a guy who can give them money.
Or somehow, but you know, as long as people aren't dumb about it. But I really like what you're talking about because this is making me. I mean, I've finally taken a step. Like, dude, help me buy some crypto.
Yeah, no, I can absolutely do that. I have all the accounts set up. That's the biggest thing for Hawaii, though. They make it so damn difficult. So unless you know somebody, like my buddy Matt, he just sold me a bunch. And I just gave him cash because Hawaii sucks for this.
Right, you just broke the law.
Well, yeah,
I'm teasing.
pretty much. Well, kind of, sort of, but not really. It's
kinda
actually
like-
it's so convoluted. It's really tough to tell if you actually broke the law or not.
It's kind of like butt sex. It's sodomy in some states, or even this state if it's done wrong. But if you do it right, nobody tells. It's legal.
Right. And so there are other things there where it's just you need to help people get into it. There's a little bit of risk on you, but in general, like the risk is on the person buying it. If you want to get out tomorrow, I can't guarantee I'm going to have the money to sell you out tomorrow.
But if somebody were, like I said, if businesses could accept it with some semblance of stability, I think crypto would take off in a way that was unimaginable. Can you imagine not having to do any currency conversions from country to country? If some asshole from Vietnam or even Tibet can go on your website without any conversions whatsoever and say, look, I have 10 ARK coins and I want to buy your $10 deal, and you accept it, whatever that thing is, you just opened your market to 6.8 or 7.2 billion people in the world.
Well, absolutely. There are just so many countries you just can't send money back and forth. Or like me to give you a couple grand for the steakhouse there, it cost me $20 to give you like $6,000. It's stupid.
Yeah, there's no reason for that because they're just transferring numbers anyway.
Exactly, but it's because none of them interact. So this is where ARK comes in. Like Bitcoin and Ethereum do not interact at all. So you have to pay 5-10% transaction fee. I wouldn't have to pay $20. More it'd be like $5 or $2.
Yeah, but if we got 1% for that conversion to do a transaction regardless of currency, I mean, who gives a damn?
Well, and these exchanges do that sort of thing. So the infrastructure is already there. It's a matter of user adoption. So
Right, but
I'm not saying the market's saturated. It's just we don't need it. However, if we can get users to adopt this, like that's everything you need. You can beat out all the existing competition because they're not doing shit to push the market forward with
do
an
this.
actual audience.
Let's go talk to the people I introduced you to. Let's get some money. Let's program this. If it took a year and a half, it would be worth it.
Oh, absolutely. And you can use a lot of the code that's already out there.
I like money.
All right, that's about all we got for today, folks. I'm gonna skip over some of the other stuff because we went way too long.
I think next time I'm going to bring this up. I really love that the Supreme Court, they kind of made this ruling about policing for profit. Basically, the cops aren't allowed to take your shit anymore.
Yeah, they can't take your crypto either. If you just decide you want to buy drugs, they can't take all of it.
No shit. I mean, that's fabulous. They can no longer just rape your entire house because you did something. Your family doesn't have to suffer quite the same. I really want to touch this on our next podcast because it's really important. I mean, this is like Wade versus Roe important.
Probably more important than that, honestly. I mean, this has ruined far more lives.
But you know what I'm saying? I mean, it is
monumental.
It is monumental.
And so you don't see any time where the Supreme Court is actually, let's just do it now. But the Supreme Court actually gets a complete.
Well, just touch on it now. I mean, we're like pushing 2 hours.
Right, but so you don't ever see a time where the Supreme Court is unanimous in their decision. All 9 members agreed completely that this policing for profit stuff is trash. So It was some heroin addict in Indiana who got his shit taken. He got arrested and stuff for heroin use or heroin sale. He was also a heroin addict. And then, so he pled out and everything was okay. And then he took his Range Rover because he was also a heroin addict and a heroin dealer simultaneously, which poor decisions anyway.
So what's he supposed to sell to bail out?
Well, and so he was out of jail. No, everything was taken care of. But they said that Range Rover was probably acquired because of his heroin sales, which, probably was.
Yeah, but who cares?
Right. And so this is a typical practice of police departments. They take, if you have $10,000 in cash, they just take it. I mean, there have been pastors going from church to church across state lines, get pulled over and get all their money taken for their church because, this is probably for drug use. And so that's actually why police, they'll set up checkpoint stuff for people coming out of areas where they've already sold the drugs so they can steal their cash. They don't want the drugs. They don't give a fuck about that. They care about taking your money.
Right, so you can't do anything.
Right, and so this heroin addict actually made it to the Supreme Court appealing this because they took his $40,000 or $50,000 Range Rover, and he won. So now any police department or law enforcement agency is not allowed to take excessive property. So it's really vague.
Well, I got to say that it's a step in the right direction. In my point of view on this, because I've kind of been in a situation similar to this. If let's say you're a heroin addict and you plead guilty, but they took all your crap.
A junkie?
No, I'm not. Never.
I'm playing.
I'm not really a junkie, but I'm addicted to pussy. But
yes, you are.
So let's say that you end up on probation, right? And you're expected to have a job, but they just took your house and your car, and you're also expected to have an address. They just made it exponentially more difficult for you to actually succeed in your rehabilitation by taking everything away.
Well, they make it impossible.
They really
increase
do.
the recidivism rate on purpose.
I mean, it's like having a $300,000 bail for the average person. Who the fuck can afford to bail out and then go buy an attorney when they force you to stay in jail because you don't just have $30,000 to just lose?
Right. I mean, Jeff Bezos probably doesn't have that kind of liquid assets just sitting around. It's stupid. Why would you have that kind of money laying around?
Well, he would, but I mean, you and I wouldn't. Not saying we're doing anything wrong, but the system is literally set up to fuck you, and they just took the first step in saying, hey, what
Stop
you did was
running lives.
illegal, but your stuff is your stuff. It's like a man's castle law. If somebody breaks in your house in Hawaii, you are obligated to lay down or run away.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, just let them rape and murder you. You're not allowed to defend yourself at all.
And then when you go sue them, now you're out like $20,000 in attorney's fees, plus your butthole's leaking buttermilk, and you never shit right again. It just falls out. You have to wear diapers. I mean, no, fuck that. I'm going to beat the crap out of the guy trying to rape me. I am going to shoot somebody who has entered my home. I am going to want to, even if I did something illegal. I mean, there's some article. I have to find it. The average person commits like 7 felonies a day.
Well, yeah,
without even knowing.
Insane amount of rolls in the books.
But if you were to get caught, why should you lose your house because you made a mistake? I mean, that's like no different than putting out a junk bond out there and taking an entire old person's life savings. You've just ruined that person, and the government's ruined you, but yet the government has no responsibility to take care of you if they fuck you over.
That's a regular occurring thing.
I love this new ruling.
No, it's amazing. It has a huge amount of impacts, and I'll tell you, there's not a common sense court or anyone in this nation is not super excited right now. It's something that's been going on for a long time. I'll tell you, Jeff Sessions though probably hates it. He loves this sort of stuff.
Sessions,
and this is where I disagree with a lot of conservatives. They love this shit. Well, you're discouraging. You're discouraging people until you're the one getting effed over, and then you realize how screwed up it is.
Absolutely. We need to put this on our forum for next. I think we have like an hour's worth of talking just on this subject because there is so much screwed up things in the world.
Oh God, you could just do an internet search for civil asset forfeiture and you find literally all of the information.
Oh God, yeah. I got to tell you. So I tell you what, everybody, we're going to get some more information on this. We're going to put it up. We got another podcast coming next week. We got some more secrets to sell you. We're going to put it up there. So this is Brian.
This is Rocky.
Thanks for joining us.
Saying prayers in the street light.